Now, on a sad note, a candidate from Kamaro Secondary School in Meru County tragically lost her life just hours before the start of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination. Now, this comes as two other candidates who were recently delivered wrote their examinations from their hospital beds. Here are the details of the start of the written examination across the country.
Monday was a challenging day for some candidates as the KCSE examinations commenced. In Meru County, the atmosphere was particularly somber following the untimely death of a candidate from Kamaro Secondary School.
But majority of you...
Officials have confirmed that this loss has cast a shadow among her peers as the written exam started for the 29,148 candidates in the county.
Tunasikitika kwamba hadi kufikia saa 6 za usiku leo tumempoteza mwanafunzi mmoja ambaye anatoka katika maeneo ya Tigania West.
This as two candidates who recently became mothers sat for the examination in the maternity room, a testament to their commitment to education.
Tulikuwa na mabenati wawili ambao walikuwa wamebarikiwa wakajifungua katika hospitali yetu ya Meru. Najua taarifa hizi zitazidi kubadilika kwa sababu labda wameongezeka, na sisi tutaendelea kuwajulisha kadri tunavyopata taarifa.
Meru County Commissioner Jacob Ouma announced that stringent security measures are in place to uphold the integrity of the examinations, urging all candidates to adhere to the rules and warning against cheating.
Wanafunzi waachwe wafanye mitihani yao kwa sababu wamejiandaa miaka yote hii. Asije mtu akaingia pale na ujuzi wake akaja akaharibu mchuzi. Wapishi wengi siku zote mchuzi huharibika, tuwape nafasi wafanye mitihani.
Meanwhile, in Malindi, female candidates outnumbered the males for the first time, a notable shift highlighted by local education officials.
So the total centers are 50, and the number of candidates are actually categorized categorically under boys and girls. We have the number of boys 2,283, and the number of girls we have 2,409. The total number of KCSE candidates in Malindi sub-county are 4,692.
And in Kisii County, the Deputy County Commissioner Ngunyi Maina cautioned against stigmatizing the region as a hotbed for exam malpractice, citing the perception that the region was known for exam cheating was unfounded.
Tunaambia walimu ambao ndio wasimamizi wa mitihani waondoe hilo tatizo ambalo liko ya kwamba sisi watu wa Kisii ni wezi wa mtihani, na sio hivyo.
Separately, candidates in Migori and Busia sat for their papers amid heightened security.
Mtihani wa mwaka huu una tofauti kubwa kwa sababu mpaka karatasi imeandikwa jina la mwanafunzi. Kwa hivyo tunatarajia kwamba tutakuwa na visa vichache sana kwa sababu mwanafunzi anapewa tu karatasi ambayo imeandikwa jina lake, si kama pale mbeleni ambapo wanafunzi walikuwa wanaandika jina lao katika karatasi.
Busia it has a history ya kufanya mtihani. We have never had very serious cases of cheating or irregularities. But the few cases that were there in the few years ago, they were handled properly. We hope this time we will not have such cases.
And in the northeastern region, 6 helicopters were on standby in case of the need to airlift exam papers.
We have also set up DK vehicles which are strong to run the exams to the centers. We also have 6 choppers, 2 in Mandera, 2 in Ujia, and 2 in Dar es Salaam.
Lastly, in Lodwar, the distribution of examination materials began with optimism. Turkana Education Director Henry Lubanga announced that 17,949 candidates will participate across 112 public and private centers in the county.
Now, we want to wish all the candidates who began their written exams yesterday all the very best, especially Judith and Gabriel of Mary Hill Secondary School, as well as Ololiza in Kajiado. Now, Kenya and China are collaborating to implement development projects that will ensure strategic partnerships in the development of the road and rail projects. Speaking during the meeting with Li Zi, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, President William Ruto said Kenya is keen to reap the benefits of the projects to enhance transformative development and alleviate poverty.
Speaking during a meeting with Li Shi, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee and Secretary of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto said discussions are at an advanced stage with China over the Ruoni-Mau Summit Road, where talks are ongoing over the extension of SGR 2B from Naivasha to Kisumu and SGR 2C from Kisumu to Malaba.
I'm here in Kenya with the CPC delegation to implement the important common understandings between you and President Xi Jinping, as well as the outcomes of the FOCAC Beijing Summit, so as to promote the in-depth and continuous development of our comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership.
The president also welcomed the Chinese private sector to invest in renewable energy, e-mobility, manufacturing, health, and agriculture. He also urged China to facilitate cooperation between Kenya and business community. Additionally, he called for China's support in Kenya's bid to join BRICS and for the election of Kenya's candidate to the position of the African Union Commission chairperson.
It was an honor, Your Excellency, for me to join President Xi and fellow African heads of state and government under the Beijing Action Plan 2025 in setting a common strategic plan for the partnership between our continent and China. And Kenya, I want to assure you, is committed to promoting this partnership across Africa and also upholding the One China policy.
I'm committed to working diligently to advance our bilateral cooperation.
Separately, the president also received the credentials of South Sudan's newly appointed ambassador, Monica Achol Agwekayol, at State House, Nairobi on November 4th, 2024.
Now, Victor mentioned that it was a bit wet yesterday after quite the heat. Yes, indeed, the Kenya Meteorological Department has issued has allayed fears over the onset of the start of the short rains this season in some parts of the country. Now, speaking at the department's headquarters, Kenya Meteorological Department Director Dr. David Gikungu said the delayed rains should be no cause for alarm, noting that the western parts of the country had sufficient rains in June to August season that have extended into the short rainy season. Now, he added that the areas already receiving rainfall are set to produce sufficient food stocks for the rest of the country.
The weatherman has allayed any fears of depressed rains, saying that beginning Wednesday, the areas that have been dry will begin to receive rainfall. Kenya Meteorological Department Director Dr. David Gikungu said that the delayed rains is not an indication of starvation, noting that the western part of Kenya experienced the June, July and August rains, which means that enough food was produced in the said duration.
The western parts of the country didn't quite have a break from the June, July, August going into September that has had good rainfall that feeds the nation. Wherever you go in Kenya, you will find ugali, isn't it? And that is all we would ask for. We are not saying that the rains will fail. The onset gets late.
He, however, noted that the eastern regions of Kenya have been drier, although the situation is expected to change in the coming week.
But over the eastern, let's do a different activity. But let's not be alarmist. We will continue informing you as we watch. Let's move together. Let's alert the public together in terms of how to prepare for the weather in these different times.
The officials further noted that farmers in the agricultural sector will still be able to farm their crops with the little rain that is expected. However, the growing season may be shorter.
However, for agriculture, what is more important is distribution.
If you get the growing season correct, you can get little rainfall and then get something. But then when it's late, we also assume maybe the growing season will be short.
The weatherman said this during the launch of Training of Trainers workshop on Puma and Cleanser systems recently installed at the Kenya Meteorological Department by the Africa Union Commission, supported by the European Union. This installation is vital for providing tailored weather updates and warnings, ultimately supporting various sectors, including agriculture, disaster management, and public safety. With the installation of the upgraded satellites, the general public now expects to receive information on tailored weather updates.
Well, now you know that there's no need for panic or worry in regard to that matter. Now to the courts, the Director of Public Prosecution is once again at loggerheads with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, after DPP Ranson Mulele requested to withdraw a graft case involving multiple forgeries of academic certificates by a senior government official. In an affidavit filed before the Milimani Anti-Corruption Court, EACC has vehemently opposed a move by the DPP to terminate the case against Gabriel Bukachi Chapia, saying already 14 out of the 15 listed businesses have already testified. Details of this in our Skills of Justice segment.
In the case before Milimani's Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate EACC has informed the court that it beats logic for DPP to withdraw the case at this stage, with only one witness remaining, who is the investigating officer. The accused person, Gabriel Bukachi Chapia, is charged with forging both his bachelor's and master's degree certificates, using the same to secure employment at senior level in 3 public institutions. In his application to withdraw the case, the DPP has cited a request from the accused person to review the decision to charge him. However, EACC urges the court to dismiss the DPP's move, terming it arbitrary, capricious, and a complete disregard of public interest. EACC further argues that using the forged academic certificates, the accused person fraudulently secured employment in the public service and earned salaries amounting to 9.7 million shillings, which they want recovered in full. The matter was adjourned to Thursday, 7th November. Elsewhere, Milimani's Children Court has launched Children's Service Week, which is aimed at creating awareness of children different ways of correcting them.
This year, our theme is enhancing child justice through preliminary inquiry and diversion, promoting rehabilitation, reintegration, dignity for children in conflict with the law. We still have several activities lined up during this month. Next week, we have set next week specifically to do civil matters concerning children, trying to expedite. The week after, we have set it aside for criminal matters, specifically to expedite criminal matters. The week after that, we intend to do community outreach, and we have a program at Kayole in Eastlands, where we are going to meet members of the public, the community, and engage them.
The exercise runs until end of November.
Courts, we delve into business, and according to the central bank, is that Premier Bank offers the cheapest credit at a flat rate of 9% for all categories of loans, according to the latest data from Central Bank of Kenya. Now, the data further indicates that Cooperative Bank of Kenya is a go-to bank if you're looking for a cheap overdraft among other largest banks in Kenya, pricing its loan at nearly half than compared to the most expensive peer.
The Central Bank of Kenya has been compiling the lending rates for commercial banks since July this year. The commercial bank's weighted average lending rates latest data for September 2024 indicates that Cooperative Bank of Kenya is the go-to bank if you're looking for the cheapest overdraft. This is the second month in a row that Cooperative Bank of Kenya has beat peers in offering the lowest overdrafts. If you're looking for an overdraft repayable in less than a year, Cooperative Bank of Kenya will charge you 11.05%, while NCBA Bank charges 20.66%. Overall, the CBK data shows that Cooperative Bank of Kenya charged a mean interest rate of 14.88% as compared to Absa Bank's 20.02%. On average, the data indicates that Cooperative Bank of Kenya ranks 7th overall in pricing of loans. Premier Bank offers the cheapest credit at a flat rate of 9% for all loans, followed by Access Bank at 11.42% and Diamond Trust Bank at 12.44%. The central bank says 6 banks have priced their loans above 20%. The most expensive commercial banks to borrow a loan are Middle East Bank, which charges 21.52%, HFC at 20.05%, Credit Bank at 20.25%, and Absa Bank Kenya at 20.02%.
Now, still on business, the business community is calling for a predictable tax regime, noting that abrupt changes in tax rates is adversely affecting their budgeting process and the ability to service orders, especially imported raw materials. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers cites unpredictable changes in the tax regime in Kenya as among factors affecting businesses. Trevor Ngendo with the details.
There have been concerns from businesses about the changes in policy, especially tax rates that are done abruptly. Businesses have been calling for enactment of tax regimes that last at least 3 years before they are reviewed to enable them plan accordingly. They argue that changes in the tax rates affect the cost of doing businesses, especially for imported raw materials. This was a key highlight for businesses during a public participation forum on the proposed Business Laws Amendment Bill 2024.
Separated from the finance bill so that we actually know we have a block of 3 years or we have a block of 5 years within things remain constant and you're able to plan to grow.
Businesses are also concerned about issues of double taxation, noting that in some instances, raw materials and the finished products are taxed.
We've had a lot of different ministries, different agencies bringing taxes, bringing levies, and therefore the government looked uncoordinated from our view. And this led to a lot of unpredictability in the business environment.
Of double taxation on packaging materials, which also affect flowers. And part of the amendment is to ensure that we streamline that so that we can only have one area of taxation.
If passed in its current form, Business Laws Amendment Bill 2024 ring-fenced at least 40% of public procurement to be sourced locally in a bid to create demand for goods from local manufacturers and service providers.
Have introduced import levy for specific products, which are going to be levied because we want to promote local manufacturing.
Now we cross over to sports, where KCB FC continued to hold onto the leadership of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League standings despite losing their first match this season when they went down 1-0 to Mathare United. Now the Bankers lead the standings with 17 points, 3 ahead of their closest challengers, Mara Sugar.
KCB lost their first match of the 2024-2025 after falling to Mathare United by a goal to nil. It was Mathare's third win of the campaign that catapulted them to 4th place with 11 points, while KCB remains top of the standings with 17 points. Mara Sugar are enjoying a dream start to their debut top-flight season, sitting second 4 points adrift. Kariobangi Sharks is placed third. Former champions FC Leopards and Tusker are placed 5th and 6th respectively on 10 and 9 points. Defending champions Gor Mahia, who battled to a 2-2 draw with Moranga Seal, complete the top 10 with 8 points. Shabana are bottom of the grid, having collected a meager 3 points from 6 matches. Kakamega Homeboys and Posta Rangers occupy 17th and 16th positions respectively.